Okay, guys, welcome to the zone for this week. We've got some milestones as usual. A couple of the boundary umpires did their first Divi 1 game last weekend. Eli Courtney and Mark Priest. So well done to you guys. Brody Simons on the boundary did his 50th. So Tony's young lad. So good to see him clock that milestone up. And this week, got some guys doing their 100th game. So Brett Crowhurst, fieldy, Steve Williams, fieldy, and Lee Burns, goalie. So well done to all you guys. We've got finals starting this week. So the women's finals for all divisions except for Division 5 are on this Saturday. With the coaching notes, I'll send out a document that the league has put together with all the details of those finals. Just note on that document, there is a mention that all clubs are required to have 2 match day officials each and make sure that's in place before the final gets underway. I'll also provide the details for drawn games in the case that you have a tie at the end of your game. There's a simple process you go through, which I will put on the website as well. So if you're caught in that situation and you can't remember the exact process, people can go to the website and download that document. As well as the women's finals getting underway this week, we've also got a bye for all Division 1 reserves and C1 games this weekend. So that means there's going to be less games for everyone. But it also means that most umpires will be umpiring at a lower division than they usually do. So please don't call me and ask me if you've been dropped. I did have someone do that last week, and I had to remind them that if they are dropped, they will get notified before appointments come out. Usually there's a reason for umpiring a lower division than you're used to. And this week it's because there's no Div 1 game. So, we're throwing the appointments around a little bit this week. Some of the Div 1 guys are going down and umpiring some lower division games. So you'll probably notice a difference to your appointment this week. I'm going to send out a cut and paste from the rule book. On the weekend, I realised that there's a lot of clubs that are setting up after a point, not only with the player on the mark 15 metres out from the top of the kickoff line, but they're also positioning players around to the side. So as a reminder for myself, but also a reminder for you guys, I've just cut out from the rule book what the protected area exactly is. It's a 15-metre radius around from the point post on either side, with a semicircle that goes to the 15-metre mark at the top of the kickoff line. So just be aware of that. We don't want you being too technical about it, but it's good you have the knowledge of exactly what that protected area is meant to be, and try and attempt to clear both teams' players from that area after a kick-in. Quite often the kick-in occurs before you finally clear that area, but just make an attempt to do so. Don't want any players sort of hanging around there. A note that this Wednesday night, we've got the Snitty with Smitty night. The association's having a food night, but it's at the Britannia Hotel, which is obviously right next to where we train. Food and drink at own cost. $15 schnitzels and cheap happy hour drinks have been organised for the night. So be a good night to get along to the Britannia Hotel after training and catch up with a few guys and girls. So you're all welcome. All right, before we get on to the coaching video, which is an interesting one, has anyone got any questions or comments from the weekend we've just had?
Yeah, Colin, it's Matt.
Yep. Why aren't we seeing your face, Matt?
Break everyone's screen, mate.
Oh, come on.
No, the camera's actually shit house. It's an old laptop.
No worries. All good.
So in our, it was in the C grade game. We had a bloke go down, needed an ambulance in the end, so we had a half-hour delay. Our thought process on it was because the quarters kept running and we had the end of the quarter and then the start of the next quarter, we went with the ball up to start the second quarter when we were ready for it, instead of the free kick that was going to result from the contact that the bloke had. Because normally in a time off sort of game, the quarter wouldn't have ended and they'd still have that free kick, right?
So had the clubs agreed to get rid of the quarter? Is that what you're saying?
Well, so the quarter kept running, and then the siren blew, and then we started the second quarter with the siren, and the clock stopped, both the clubs were happy.
Yeah.
And we stopped it to allow 10 minutes of play to happen when we were ready, which was a couple of minutes. And then we did the last 10 minutes, so it matched up with the first 10 minutes of the first quarter.
Right.
So we started that second quarter, the last 10 minutes, with a ball up because it was the start of a new quarter. And I thought about it for a while, and I was like, because we're starting a new quarter, we have to go with a ball up because normally you wouldn't carry a free kick over. Even though in a time off game, the club still would have had a free kick.
That's such a blue moon situation.
Yeah, I know.
So I reckon, mate, you could probably argue either way, and either way, it wouldn't really matter. I guess, yeah, as long as the clubs agree to how the game plays out. If the quarters,
no one questioned it. It was more
no. It's a real blue moon. I don't have an exact answer for you, and it probably doesn't matter because in my entire life I haven't had that situation, and probably for the remainder of your life you're probably never going to have it happen again. So, I think what you've done is fine.
Yeah, cool.
But that's the thing about Adelaide Footy League. There'll always be something else pop up, and interesting one. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer on that one.
Carl,
yep.
North Haven, I've checked today, didn't have their total player list in again, and we sent one off for a dangerous tackle. So I've just written it on the return to the league where it says about comment,
So here's something that I probably should have alerted you guys to a bit earlier. We're having some issues with Officials HQ reporting. So the area in the match day report where it says, have you got any other issues, and you write all those notes, actually isn't being seen by the office at the moment. So if you have anything that pops up that you want the league to address, send me an email and I'll forward it on. There's a few things in Official HQ we actually have to get fixed over the summer, but they're not going to get sorted till then. So was it a dangerous tackle that you wanted upgraded?
No, just a yellow card, but the player's name wasn't on the list.
Gotcha. All right, shoot me an email, Barry, and I'll forward that on.
Will do.
Cheers, mate. But yeah, as I mentioned, if you've got something that you're putting into Officials HQ as something a little bit out of the ordinary, it's probably best at this stage just to email me rather than put it in Officials HQ. Anyone else?
Colin, Chris, how you going?
Yeah, good, mate.
Hey, just a question. Drink bottles still no go?
No, there was a change to that. Who reads John Cannon's update? That can...
Yeah, I read them every week, but I don't remember exactly what it happened. And they tried to do on the weekend, and we stopped them. That's what I thought.
It said in the update it wasn't starting until next year.
Okay, thanks, Matt. I knew that there was some mention recently. Yeah,
we stopped them, and they obviously argued a fair bit, but we said no, that's the rules.
Yeah, no. I think there's some talk about allowing them after a goal or something like that. But Matt, thanks for jumping to my rescue then.
No worries.
That will become an issue as the weather gets warmer. It's important that we all follow the league's directions. If you're ever unsure about instructions like that, tell the league or tell the club official to contact the league representatives such as Tony Sullivan, or they can call Peter Angel, who'll follow it up, or myself if I'm available. Obviously, I'm often umpiring, but Peter Angel or Tony Sullivan can follow those up on the day. All right, let's get on to the coaching video. So just bear with me while I bring this one up. A couple of interesting ones here. The The topic is tackling. So there's quite a few holding the ball scenarios here that are worth discussing. One in particular, which is really interesting. All right. Dave Palmer, you want to unmute yourself, mate, and you can do the first one?
Yeah. Okay, it looks to me that the player did have a prior opportunity and went to kick it, but got tackled and was unable to take the kick. Therefore, it was holding the ball.
Yep, well done, mate. Very well described. Nice work. Spot on. Okay. Adrian Truant. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, mate.
All right. You've got number 2.
So it looks to me that the player ducks into the tackle. It's a prior opportunity. Should be holding the ball.
Yep, spot on. So a bit of a hot topic at the moment, the AFL. They've got a real issue with their players, the way that they're really manipulating those high tackles. With our players, they don't tend to be quite so bad at the moment. We've talked about this before. If you notice anyone doing what some of those guys at AFL level are doing, you can give them a warning and then start pinging them. But what we're looking to call play on are the real obvious ones there where the player is upright and then they bring their head down to try and get a high tackle, and then obviously we call play on. In that case there, you nailed it. It's definitely a holding the ball decision. Any questions or comments on that? All right. Joel, you want to unmute yourself?
Hey, Cole, how are you?
Yeah, good. How are you going?
Yeah, good. Getting a lot better from last week, so it's good. Just a little bit nasally still, but getting there now, so it's good.
So two weeks ago, I said to someone, I jinxed it. I said, I reckon just about everyone's had COVID and we should be towards the end of it. And then last week we got smashed, including yourself, where we just had people go down left, right, and centre. I reckon I had 30 to 40 changes I made to appointments on Friday. So thanks to everyone for bearing with me while we made all those changes we got through. So good to hear you're sounding and feeling a little bit better, Joel.
Getting there. Yeah, all good.
All right, you've got decision number 3.
Look. I am on my phone, but that looked like it was holding the ball, Cole.
Yeah. Give us a rundown why.
I deem that to be prior, as he took 2 or 3 steps away from the pack there, and then I think it just looked like he just got tackled after that.
Yeah, so you're right, but I just need a good description of it. So we don't talk about steps these days. What's a prior opportunity?
Do we deem that he's had sufficient time? Is it a legal tackle? Has he had sufficient time to get rid of the ball?
Yeah.
Which I deem in that case he definitely did, because he had an arm free to be able to at least hand pass it or make an attempt to get rid of it.
Yeah. So prior opportunity is he's had a chance to handle or kick, which he has.
Yep.
He's legally tackled, doesn't handle or kick, so hold the ball. You're right.
Yeah.
Spot on. All right. The really interesting one is the next one. I'm going to throw to Matt Harris. You're a pretty strong decision maker. Matt, have you watched the video yet today?
Yeah, I have, mate.
All right, good. I wanted someone who had a look at it to give us their thoughts. So give us a rundown on this one. This one is really interesting. All right. First of all, just to point out that's a manual error just there in his Norwood top. But Matt, give us your rundown on what you thought.
Well, in that marking contest, the South bloke gets a bit of a body nudge and is almost tackled. I don't think the vision we've got makes it clear enough to say whether it was or wasn't. Maybe if we were more side on, we'd have a better vision. Then the tackle beforehand, disposed of it, and then he's probably slung around. So I would be suggesting that we've got a holding the man back there because he's, the tackle's lingered way too long.
Yeah. So there's three possible decisions there.
Yeah.
First one was it a marking interference free kick? Yeah. I'm quite happy with that, just being body and the player in front jumping forward. So play on. Then it's Jason Horne-Francis in his very first game for South Adelaide. He takes possession of the ball, no prior opportunity, is legally tackled. You can either say he drops the ball, which you would then, of course, call holding the ball, or you could say it's spilt loose or was not clear with the tackle. So it's either holding the ball or play on. And then the very last one is what you've described as holding the man, which is what I believe it was.
I think that was the clearest one of the lot.
Yeah. And I think listening to when the whistle was blowing, that's what the umpires has decided, and I'm quite happy with that. But yeah, an interesting one. I'm sure we could ask the group and we'd get three different answers from about a third of the group for each one. But anyway, that's the beauty of our game. We get the 50-50 calls. It's just really important in your head you've got the process right, and you can explain your decision. But in that case, I'd be saying play on because the player in front has jumped forward with the marking contest. The player behind hasn't pushed. He's just held his ground. Secondly, it's play on because the ball's not clear after no prior opportunity. And then third one is holding the man because he hasn't got possession of the ball and tackled the ground. All right, bit of an easier one to finish with. Thanks, Matt. I'll throw to you because I thought you'd know it and you didn't let me down. I'm looking for someone that... Sal, you want to come on and do the last one? Jump up. Geez, that wake you up?
No, I'm listening. I'm listening to the whole thing. There's three decisions there.
I'm giving you a nice easy one, mate. You can do the last one.
All right.
Did you catch it?
Oh, geez, no, not at all, mate. The umpire's thrown the ball in and then something's happened after that. Is there a block there or?
I'll give you another one, mate. I'll give you another go.
I saw a block at the start, but then I saw someone getting tackled. Is that right?
So it's a ruck contest. If you have a look at the coaching video link, you'll see it's pretty clear. Ruck interference free kick. One of the ruckmen puts his arms on the shoulder of the other ruckman and then pulls him around. So it's either too high or holding on.
He's gone to ground, yeah.
Yeah. All good.
Okay.
All right. Let me run through the last few. There's obviously some messaging here from Shane Harris, but we're aiming to protect the ball player in most of our free kicks. So in this case, clearly lands on his back and area on the side of the ball player. If you can't see the ball player's head and shoulders, you need to move. So this is a really obvious decision, but you need to be moving to be able to get the angle to see something like that. And if you don't see it, that you want the other umpire to pay that one. A high tackle, free kick, you can overrule. The only other time I went overrule is if it's a player safety issue, dangerous tackle or report, or if it's holding off the ball. But the high tackles are the key ones. So in that case there, clearly an obvious and blatant high tackle. We don't go looking for free kicks, you just react to what happens. They normally stand out and hit you. It's pretty clear. In that case there, is that a prior opportunity, doesn't handle or kick, holding the ball, and then he plays on, and advantage paid. Another example, just letting it unfold. Now, in that case there, that is one, if you have another good look at that coaching video, that is one where his head is up. He sees the player coming towards him and he puts the head down. So it's a good decision by the umpire to call play on. If you can't see the footy, you've got to keep moving. That's what we talk about, arcing around packs. And in that case there, you want to have the angle on it to make sure there's no high tackle, that he's had a prior opportunity, he doesn't get a handball out, so that's a holding the ball decision. Again, obvious and blatant free kicks, don't go looking for free kicks. When they're there, they'll stand out, and obviously in that one, there's a clearly a trip. So hold the whistle and let it unfold. Be reactive with your decision making. Now in that case there, the player tucks the ball in. He doesn't make a genuine attempt, and in the end drops the ball. But that's a trigger. If a player has the ball in one hand and that arm is not pinned, you've got to wait and see if he makes a genuine attempt. In that case, he doesn't. Area on the side of the ball player for our ball player free kicks. So in that case there, he lands on his back. Good ball player free kick. Protect the player that's first to the ball. Some of these messaging is fairly repetitive, but it's for that for the reason that it's important to. In that case there, that's for games where there's a last possession. So a handball over the line is a last possession that would not be deliberate out of bounds with the way we do deliberate. But for our B grade, C grade women's games, that's a free kick. In that case there, it's an interesting one. He's got one of his arms pinned. In that case, he's got to make a genuine attempt. He just drops the ball, so that's why he's penalised. And that might be all the examples. Yep. So the last message: can we see the ball player's head and shoulders and the footy? And if you don't, get moving and just react to what happens. Any questions on any of that stuff? Any questions or comments on anything else? All right. So again, appointments come out tomorrow. A few less games this week. So if you normally get two, you only get one. That's why. If you're umpiring a little lower, that's why. With no Division 1 games, some of the guys who normally do women's games might not get a women's final because there's less games available. So it starts to tighten up a bit now. Yeah, thanks to everyone for helping us fill all the games that we've had up till now. And I guess the pressure on us to fill as many games is a little less as the season goes forward from here on in. But we also understand that you guys like umpiring, and many of you like doing a couple of games a day. We'll certainly try and look after those of you that love your umpiring and want to get it and do a couple of games each week. And yeah, Pete and I will be working hard to make sure that we try and keep everyone as happy as possible from here on in. But we know it's mission impossible to keep everyone happy. We'll look forward to having a little quieter weekend this weekend and then ramping up as Div 1 gets started the week after. But yeah, couldn't be prouder of you guys. You're having a busy year, and we're having a really solid year. And as a kind of a sign of the player behaviour change that we've seen from both umpire abuse and from dangerous tackles. We only had one red card for the weekend last weekend, and it wasn't umpire abuse or a dangerous tackle. It was engaging in rough play in a Div 7 reserves game. And other than that, we had a very quiet weekend, which is a really good sign from what you guys have done and what the players are now doing. And then obviously we just need to Stand to go as we move towards finals and the fight for relegation and finals. There'll be some pretty competitive games coming up. And of course, for the finals for the women, pretty cutthroat from here on in. So it starts to get a bit exciting. All right, guys. Thanks for staying with us tonight, and we'll look forward to catching you on Wednesday night.